I want to welcome everybody back, but before we get into the drill today, I want to give you a big public service announcement and have you understand how important it is for your shoulders and your spine to be in the correct position and to move properly through the entire duration of your release. Your shoulders and your spine can influence so many variables through the bottom of the swing that would make your head spin completely off of your body. Your shoulders can influence the low point. They can influence the angle of attack. They can influence the swing plane and path. They can influence the rate of closure in the club face. And we all know that every single one of you watching this video wants to become a more consistent version of yourself, right? Of course you do. Who doesn't want to be more consistent? And being consistent means you need to have a consistent low point. Being consistent means you have to have a swing plane and path that's buttoned up, that doesn't have little tiny bits of plane shift in it. You need to have the club moving on a proper angle of attack. And so many times people start putting the cart before the horse and they start working on trying to manage the club face before they should. But today is not a video that's designed to teach you how to manage the club face. Today is a video that's designed to teach you how to control what your shoulders and your spine are doing down through the bottom so that you don't ultimately affect all of the variables that are going to change the way the club face wants to work through the hitting area. When this is all said and done, you're going to be trying to get your shoulders to feel very level to the ground, and you're going to try to make sure that your shoulders are perfectly square at the point of contact. Under no circumstance are your shoulders actually going to be level. It's an exaggerated feel that's going to help you fight off one of the common mistakes that I run into. Now, what I see from a lot of amateur golfers when it's go time, we're ready to start making all that magic happen, when we start to let the release happen, we start to create a lot of what we call lateral side bend, or you'll hear me refer to it as secondary tilt. Secondary tilt, when you look at yourself from a face-on perspective, is just measuring the spine at the point of contact. When you see this tilt and you start increasing this tilt, even subtle amounts, what you want to remember is what that's doing to your golf swing. When you look at this from a down the line perspective, if I go and start leaning my spine away from the target, what is that doing to the shaft plane? Well, it's starting to flatten it. What you also want to understand is that by the time my hands and arms start working down in front of my body, I'm going to be starting to create more of an ascending blow than a descending blow. So it's kind of like a double whammy there, right? So what we're going to be trying to do here with this drill is we're going to be trying to fight off the desire to create that tilt. That tilt happens in the golf swing, or an abundance of that tilt happens because a lot of you are trying to help the golf ball in the air with your body, or a lot of you are trying to figure out these sort of compensations to help you shallow your golf swing out because you're afraid to stuff it in the ground. And that's just continuing to compound on the problem. But the other fault that I see a lot of golfers run into is that from that same good delivery position is they start really turning their body open really hard through the release. And that, my friends, right there is a great way for you to not put speed where it matters the most. It's hard on your body, and it's ultimately affecting the path that the club is working on. When you go through this drill, what you're going to be looking for on camera is you want to make sure that before you start hitting golf balls, when you look at yourself from a face-on perspective, you want to see that the lead ankle, lead knee, lead hip socket, and lead shoulder form a perfectly straight line with one another. If you can get your body to look just like that, where looking at it from a down the line perspective and your shoulders are square, you're looking at it from face-on, you see everything stacked up, then you know that you're ready to start going out to the driving range and put a practice program in place that you can start hitting golf balls. Okay, so let me show you how to do this drill. Now, I would suggest that all of you do this with an impact bag. If you don't have one, then pile up your towels or your couch cushions or whatever. These are great because they're stopping us at the point of contact so that we can check our body's positions. I also want you to have a golf ball down on the ground that's going to be in line with the position that you would normally have your ball position. And a stock ball position is going to be off of the logo on our chest. And then I also have a line that's down here on the ground that's pointed in the direction of my target. And I'm going to be standing parallel to that line. Now, when I do these reps, we're gonna start out by doing 50% speed swings for 20 reps, hyper exaggerated, hitting the bag, checking the positions to make sure that they are as level as I possibly can get my shoulders and as square as I can get my shoulders. If those 20 reps were successful for you, the next 20 reps, what we're gonna do is we're gonna move this bag back and cut the distance in half. This is where we're gonna start dialing it back a little bit, and we're gonna do another 20 reps. Making sure that we feel our shoulders staying as level as we possibly can and making sure that they are square when we hit the bag. If those 20 reps were successful, then what we're gonna do is we're gonna move the bag back to where the golf ball position would be, move the ball out of there and do 20 more reps where we're really dialing it in perfectly and make sure that we're back checking on camera. And when we look at it on camera, when we start to increase the speed in which we do these things, if you see the impact position that I outlined for you just a moment ago, then you know that you can continue on and try to hit some golf balls with this. But the end goal, when you start working towards hitting golf balls, should be to make sure that you're getting 100 to 150 of the highest quality reps you can get done. How many golf balls you hit in the process is very dependent on what you did early on in the process and how connected you were to the movements. So let's go ahead and take our setup here. Ball position is going to be off of the logo on my chest. Now, how I like to focus on this myself is I like to feel like my lead shoulder stays as low to the ground or as low to the bag as possible and does not move away from the target line that I have down here on the ground. I'm going to give you all the freedom to be able to choose which shoulder you want to feel it from the most. Some of you don't want to feel this stuff from your lead shoulder. So if you want to focus on your trail shoulder not moving down or moving in towards the golf ball, that's totally acceptable as well. But for me, I like to focus on the lead shoulder, so it's going to stay down and not move away from the target line that I have there. And we're going to just do some little small swings here at first, just trying to feel what it's like to be in that spot. Okay, my shoulders should feel as level to the ground as possible. My shoulders should be nice and square to the line that's down here on the ground. Try to feel like you're as level as you can. Push yourself. Little small swings, about a club head width in front of it. When you look at it on camera, you're going to notice that you are a substantial amount out in front of the golf ball and you're more upright than that finished impact position would be. Again, this is the exaggerated format. That's how you start the processes of this. So we're going to do this all the way up to 20. Feeling my lead shoulder stay down, not moving away from this line that's on the ground. Keep repeating the process. Remember, it's not a drill where I want you just to hit the bag on these little small swings. I want you to start creating awareness. Feel your body in these positions. Okay. Okay, feels really exaggerated, which it is. Now, we just completed our first 20. Now I've moved the bag back. I've cut the space in half. So it's about a golf ball width now in front of the golf ball that I have on the ground. When we do this, we're going to start picking up the pace a little bit here. We're going to start picking it up, 75 to 80% speed, really still trying to feel that exaggerated feel of the shoulders and where they're pointed when we hit the bag. Let's go ahead and do another 20. Okay, you can see that I picked up the pace. I'm checking the shoulders. I'm checking to make sure that I'm as level as I can possibly get them, and I'm not open or closed. I'm nice and square to the line that's on the ground. Stay disciplined. So again, leading edge is going to be about a ball in front of the ball that you have on the ground. Lead shoulder is going to stay down and not move away. Okay, good spot there. All the way up to 20. Now, here's you are at the final step. So these final 20 are going to tell you where you're at in the process. Now we've removed the golf ball from the mix completely. These next 20 reps, I want you to be as focused as you possibly can. We're going to be trying to make 70 to 80% speed swings, and we're going to try to dial this in so it's perfect. We're going to look at the impact positions to make sure they're exactly the way that we want them to be. And if these 20 reps go well, then you could start working the golf ball back in the mix. And I'll show you how we work the golf ball in as we go through it. So we're going to go ahead and take our setup. The leading edge of the bag now is going to be exactly where the ball position would be. Okay, check the positions to make sure that they're right. If they're right, continue on. 20 of the highest quality reps that you can give me. Left shoulder stays down, not turning open. So we back check those on camera. Things actually look pretty darn good. I don't see an abundance of that tilt. I see that my shoulders are much more square at the point of contact. Now what you can do is you can start working on a little game here where you start working on ratios and bring the ball back in the mix. Because I'm on a little mat here today because we're in overseed mode down here in Florida, I would normally have a golf ball set up. After I hit the bag, I can just move into the ball, but I'm gonna have a ball just ready to go here, and I'm gonna do a 1-to-1 ratio. I'm gonna stay really committed to what I felt, and I'm gonna make sure if my commitment levels were there and I feel like my body's in the right spot, then I'm gonna reward myself and hit a golf ball. When I hit a golf ball, I'm not worried about the results. not worried about where the golf ball is going. I'm trying to make the best body movements that I possibly can, let the golf ball get in the way of it. So 1-to-1. Okay, you can see that I'm not making big full swings just yet. Okay, so I've got that in my brain. Lead shoulder is going to feel down and not moving away as the club starts to release. All right, guys, so there you have it. A simple and effective drill that pushes you to feel something hyper exaggerated, gives you a rep strategy that you can mess around with, and holds you accountable for what you're looking for. When you start seeing this stuff come to light, you're gonna start playing better golf. And I do wanna let all of you know that My Golf DNA is fully open, fully functional, and if you need help on drills like this, or you need some sort of help on any other part of your game, or you need to dial in your release pattern, whatever it is, you can get 2 virtual lessons a month with me for just over the price of a dozen Pro Vs. 2 lessons a month, that's pretty crazy. And I know a lot of you at home need that sort of added help so that you can make sure that you're doing these things correct or make sure that you're working on the right things at the right time. That's what it comes down to. You'll always get a good customized plan and you will always get immense amounts of support when it comes to me and My Golf DNA. Hopefully you guys have a wonderful day. Start playing some good golf.